The AE86 model Toyota Corolla and Sprinter Truenos have gained something of a legendary reputation among car fanatics, and with good reason. They were the last Corolla models with rear-wheel drive. They had cracking little 1.6-litre 16-valve twin-cam engines and brilliantly set up chassis that made them perfect for going sideways, or as the kids call it, drifting. Although the last AE86 was made over 25 years ago, they still have an incredible following worldwide. And even today, a clean example is a brilliantly fun car with nearly limitless potential for fun and a whole world of upgrades to make it exponentially better if you want to. The example you see here on first glance seems like something that is increasingly rare worldwide and almost unheard of here, a clean, relatively stock looking AE86 Sprinter Trueno. But when you look a little closer, you notice a few things that seem a little weird. Those huge tires for one, and the wide wheels with the massive brakes for another. And so, although this looks like a very stock and well-kept standard AE86, the bulge on the hood should tell you that it's not. In fact, it's very, very different indeed. The next clue that everything is not as it appears at first is the fact that the engine of this Toyota says Nissan on it. Yup, this AE86 is no longer simply an AE86. That Nissan badge lump sitting there is an SR20DET, the T standing for turbocharged, and it is the biggest in a whole host of changes that have been made to this car because owner Heshan felt that an ordinary 86 was just not mad enough for him. So he yanked out the 1.6-litre Toyota 4A GE and slotted in the SR20 because it was, in his words, easier to get the big power out of. Of course, it wasn't simply a matter of pulling one engine out and slotting the other in. Oh no! To make the conversion work, everything had to be tweaked and re-engineered from mounting points to wiring. It even has a wire harness from a Nissan Silvia, which is what donated the engine. And to make things easier, the dashboard from the Silvia was swapped over as well. If you're thinking that this all sounds a bit like a mad scientist experiment, well, you'd be right, except that it all works pretty much perfect. That's because the job was done over nearly a year by Raptor Performance, run by tuning wizard Sabri Abdul Salam, and they are second to none when it comes to attention to details, which is a good thing because Heshan is also quite picky about the finer points. All the focus really does kind of show through when you get the thing on the road. The main purpose behind building this car was very simple. It was built to go as fast as possible. So naturally, there's not a whole lot in the way of creature comforts. There's no sound deadening for one thing. There's very little suspension travel. And it's hot. The air conditioning is not all that effective. And it generally isn't the sort of car you'd take for a slow Sunday drive into town. But then, like I said, that's hardly the point. The point becomes very clear the second you put your foot down. Mother of God! Oh boy. Yeah. This thing is fast. It probably takes the cake for the scariest car I have ever driven. But my God, is it fun! Just insane! Heshan is not exactly sure how much power the engine is putting out at the moment, but the stock SR20DET is generally good for close on 200 bhp. And this has had a few tweaks to its ECU and its fuel delivery. So it should be putting out around that much at least at the wheels. So even though there are no official figures, the numbers for this car are just nuts. And by numbers, I mean the numbers you can actually see it do. A lot of people will ask the question, and in fact I was one of them, as to why he changed the engine and went to something that was from a different brand. His answer is well, he just needed more power and he needed more fun. I didn't agree with the idea until I drove the car, but now I think he may have had the right idea all along. Helping to keep all that horsepower under some form of control is an all-round suspension kit by D2, who are well known for making performance suspension. It lowers the car considerably and stiffens the springs up, which of course results in there being almost no suspension travel, but it keeps the car poised through all kinds of cornering situations. Also, ensuring that it can stop are significantly upgraded brakes, with rear discs taken from the S13 Silvia that donated the engine, and those brakes are considerably bigger than the standard AE86 rear disc, and front brakes that are massive custom items, cross-drilled and vented with 6 piston calipers. Yes, 6 pistons, like you get on a supercar, ensuring that there is plenty of braking to back up the power. I for one am quite glad that those are there. Yeah, they work well.